I don't. Okay, sorry. We'll pull that out of the record then. Minutes. Wrong packet. Are we good there?
What?
Are we good there to pull that out then?
Yeah, we can just
Okay.
don't call the vote.
Okay. All right, well, I see Becky, so we'll go ahead and start with our informational item for your monthly update.
All right, hello, good afternoon, everyone. I don't have very much to add today. This is a very busy time for us at Animal Control in the animal shelter. Our population has just exploded. The intake of animals has gone higher than we've seen in over 10 years and continues to rise this year, surprising all of us. We thought it would top out by now. However, we are excited to report that we are actively spaying and neutering animals both for our shelter as well as for the community to the tune of about 10 to 15 a week for the community. So we're excited that's going very well in the mobile spay neuter unit.
Great. Do you have an update on the UIC report in terms of the feral cat topic?
We have been given the results. However, there were several pages and pages of results to go through, as well as a lot of them that allowed for fill in the blank. So we're kind of sorting through everything, and I'll have a report for committee next month.
Okay. Any questions at this point for Becky? All right, well, we'll hear from you shortly. Anyone from the circuit clerk? I know Bobby said he was coming, but I don't see him unless he's hiding. No. Okay. Let's see. Corner update. Anybody here for that? Well, we are going to stay on time. That's all right. Yeah. Yeah, we would love to have you come up and present your update for ETSB. Thank you for pointing that out. We filtered it. So we didn't have you on the agenda, but I do recall we'd asked you to come and give us an update on
Scott
some of
and
the
I
projects.
talked last week,
Yes.
and that's perfectly great. Glad to come anytime. So the ETSB is busy, obviously, with Stark County. We're, as you know, building a new 911 center for the county of Stark. And the building is up, the tower is up, the radio system is operational there. So most of the equipment is installed. Lots of testing, lots of street address issues, signage, those kinds of things. So hopefully early fall we'll be ready to go. We'll give you an update before we go online. So hopefully early fall, September, we'll be ready to go for Stark County.
Great.
And the state is fully funding it, and that's all going very well. So
Even better.
that's a good thing.
I had asked that you come to address, we had heard, I want to say in the last few months, of other states that had their 911 systems hacked and were out of service for, periods of time, causing, of course, chaos for folks. Can you tell the committee kind of how we are protected and working to prevent that?
Sure. The state of Illinois has contracted with AT&T to provide a connection to what's called an EZNet. So 911 calls used to come into the 911 centers over copper telephone lines. They now come in over fiber optics. So the calls process much faster and they're much clearer for the dispatcher and for the caller. But it's part of a statewide network. And we rely on the state of Illinois to maintain the security of that network. And then we have firewalls and applications in place on our system. We pay our phone vendor, Solacom, a yearly fee to do managed services for our security. So hopefully between the security that the state requires, AT&T, and our local company, hopefully we'll be able to ward off any serious attacks.
Great. Okay. Any questions? Okay. Well, thank you for sharing some of those updates with us.
Okay. Thanks for asking.
Anybody else here for informational purposes? Let's see, can I get a motion for the judge bench refinishing resolution? Sharon and Danny? Hi there. Oh, your mic.
Are we on now? There we go.
Yep.
Yep. All right, so the agenda briefing in front of you and the resolution is for the removal and replacement of laminate tops for 3 judicial benches. This is for courtroom 210, 213, and 214. At this point, the life of use for these laminate tops has passed. They're severely in disrepair. They're very bowed and bent. They've started to crack. We've had multiple issues where our equipment will no longer stay level on the judicial benches. We're also having a few of the judicial ropes getting snagged and ripped, and the corners have become very edged. So in the meantime, we've used some Scotch tape. We're resourceful to no longer snag clothing. So to prepare for this issue in calendar year 23, we submitted an FY24 capital budget improvement plan, which was approved in the FY24 capital budget fund. And then to be in compliance with the county's purchasing policy, we reached out to Jim Smith and we put together an invitation to bid. We submitted that on March 19th. And of course, that put forth our scope of work and the requirements. And on April 26th, that was due, we received 3 bid responses, and Maserati Incorporated came back with the lowest responsible bid of $24,333. So we want to move forward with the award and the project. So our recommendation is to move forward with Maserati. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions on this project? No questions, and we were thrilled to see it was even less than anticipated.
Yes,
So
definitely.
it's always a bonus. All right, if there are no questions, all in favor? Ayes opposed? I'm sorry, opposed? Ayes have it. We'll move on to Pauline Becky back up for our veterinary service contract changes.
Okay, what you have before you is an updated agreement for veterinary services. Dr. Brown has decided to sell his practice. He has assured us that our level of service will continue the same. He will actually be staying on board in the practice. It's really just the ownership behind the scenes that's changing hands. But because the ownership is changing hands, we do need an updated agreement. Even the door and the name on the door, I believe, will be staying the same from what we've been told. Same service providers, the same folks that are working with us on a day-to-day basis. So the agreement was updated to include just some language changes that were recommended by the state's attorney's office. The dollar amount, the service level, none of the meat and bones of the agreement are changing. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? So in the conversation about this, it was explained to me that this is something that a lot of veterinary offices are doing, so it isn't necessarily something that should raise any alarms.
Correct.
In terms of, is there trouble within the practice or anything like that? Any questions for Becky? Okay. I also didn't get a motion in a second, so Danny and Rob, thank you. So no more questions. We will call for a vote. All in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. And let's see. Since I see the sheriff so modestly sitting in the back, would you mind coming up and telling us a bit about the opportunity that you were afforded for the FBI leadership program? I think we're very lucky to have such a qualified sheriff to be called out there.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, I was invited out to Quantico for a week for leadership training through the National Institute of Corrections. 30 sheriffs across the nation were out there. It was great. It was great just to network. We're all going through the same things throughout the U.S., honestly, staffing and the jail issues. But it was great to bounce ideas off each other. It was good to get some leadership training. I mean, I'm still developing as a leader, so it was good to do that. It was all paid for by the NIC, so local taxpayers that pay anything for that trip. But yeah, it was good, very good.
Well, from what I've heard, it's quite an honor to have been selected, so thank you and congratulations.
Thanks.
Let's see. Don't think I had anything else for you. Just wanted to learn more about the program.
Okay. Anybody have questions for me? No. Good.
Do you have
Thanks.
anything else you wanted to share?
No, summer camp was smooth. We had 15 deputies out there over the weekend. I think numbers were a little low this year compared to other years. We had one arrest. Our deputies made one arrest the whole weekend, which has to be a record. A guy was breaking into tents and stealing things, and we caught him after a little foot chase. But besides that, it was pretty smooth.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you. And with that, we'll move to public comment. Don't see anyone. Miscellaneous. All right, and we will get back on track. We'll adjourn.